We're back. I'm Dan Dyker along with Al Losi, Seven Rivers Racing here on KQEG TV, reminding you that you can find the program on YouTube at youtube.com/Seven Rivers Racing. You can also get a recap on my AM 580 WKTY Race Report program, heard every Saturday from 4 until 5. And we're going to get a hold of Garrett Thicke, our guest in the program, and Dennis Gross. We're going to get them both on the radio show coming up this weekend as well. Dennis, you've been out to the racetrack for quite many years, because I think you were one of the first guys I met when I started there in 05.
Yeah, when I first started there, well, I first started racing when I was in high school, and one of my best friends and I started racing dirt down in Independence, Iowa, and my family members raced dirt, hobby stocks mostly, and then I moved up to lacrosse, and I just happened to move right across the street from Matt Inglet's dad, Bill Inglet, and I went over there and said, "Oh, you guys
what
are..."
a task that is.
I was over there and I was like, "Oh, you race, huh? Where do you race at?" And they said, "Oh, out of lacrosse." Well, I used to go to lacrosse when I was real little with my uncles and watch the racing in Oktoberfest, so I went over there and I said, "Well, you guys need help working on the cars?" And my wife was like, "Oh, how much of a commitment it's going to be?" And I said, "Well, hon, I don't know how much of a commitment, but it's going to be fun."
Right.
And this is when Josh, Matt, and Bill both were running Thunder stocks, and it was a lot of fun. That's where I cut my teeth. And then Matt won his championships and moved up to Sportsman, and I helped him with his Sportsman car. And then after that, I went and he moved on and was going to a metric, and I knew absolutely nothing about a metric, so we parted ways, and I started helping Steve Owen with his Thunderstock car, and then he moved up to Sportsman. I helped him a little bit with his Sportsman, and now I'm helping him with his late model, and that's where I am now.
So racing is the fun part, not living next to Bill Inglet's the fun part. 'Cause I can take him and be in doses at the racetrack.
If you guys ever watch the OCC when Junior and Mikey and Senior are all on the show together, that's what I put it like. When you get Josh, Bill, and Matt in the same garage, and they're all working on the same thing, they all have their own input, but not always does it always gel. They always, sometimes it almost comes to blow, and you just sit back and you laugh, or it's a good time. I mean,
Bill's a good old guy. I'm just kind of ramming on him here on the program. I always catch flack with him every chance he gets to see me at the racetrack. So now you're a car owner and you're a racer yourself. You're kind of balancing two different things. How tough is that?
Oh, it's not really tough. It's just making sure that the cars are ready for the beginning of the season, make sure that everything's up to par, make sure they run. I found out last Saturday that there is some other maintenance that I have to do besides that kind of bit me in the rear end. My car had some old gas in it, and I had to work that out. But no,
has that problem every now and then as well, and we got to run him around the studio to get the old stuff out.
But no, it's fun. I enjoy it. If it wasn't for my sponsors that are on the car now, that I wouldn't have storage and I wouldn't be able to do a lot of the stuff. So I do have to say a special thanks to River Road Recovery, because if it wasn't for Chris and Rick, I don't think I'd be out there, to be honest with you.
And now we're name dropping the sponsors. We always give our drivers and their teams an opportunity to talk about their sponsors. Who do you both have this year helping you guys out?
Well, River Road Recovery, definitely. They're the ones that have the cars for us. So, and GT Signs, my decals and stuff like that. And then Redneck Express. And then Thicke Heavy Equipment, my grandpa, he's the one that allowed us to get the car fixed and gave us the shop.
Now talk about, I noticed you were doing graphics this year on Josh Inglet's number 27. You guys pointed out last weekend during Smash-A-Rama that whose NASCAR car does that look like? And it just wasn't dawning on me. I thought it was Rusty Wallace, because I had just came from Milwaukee Mile, and his looked identical to what that was. Well, it was Kevin Harvick's schematics on the car there. How do you find time to race, work on a car, and do decals for race cars as well?
I just, with doing all that every year, I just kind of say, what do you guys want to, what do you want to do for paint scheme? Josh, with Josh's cars, he said, find something with red, white, and black on it. I started looking at it, and I seen the, my favorite driver is Kevin Harvick, so I was like, let's go with that. And he was like, looking at it, yeah, let's do it. Matt's car, this year I spent hours and hours and hours just drawing it and trying to figure out what I wanted to stay with a red scheme, but I gave him several options. I gave him probably 45 different designs.
And all of a sudden on Facebook, bam, I'm like, where's the red and the black at?
Yeah.
This thing doesn't look like what it did last year.
It actually reminded me of the old Cartoon Network car that Steve Grissom used to drive.
And see, that's why if you look at Matt England's numbers, the 27, they're kind of broken apart. And the first thing I saw, or the first thing that came to my mind when I was in the pits is, well, that looks like when the Hulk hits something, that's what it looks like when it breaks apart. So that's what we just call it the Hulk Smash 27. And you did a nice job on Josh's car, man. I mean, I was looking over that thing. I had a lot of time during Smash-A-Rama 2 weekends ago to really pay attention to what was going on with some of these decals and some of these different cars. To tell you what, you did a nice job. You should have GT and Fans Arena join forces here
We actually
somehow.
have done a few things together.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You need to do some decals, stickers, and bumper stickers.
We do have that, but you know, Garrett's out there and he does a good job.
So the both of you now raced in the very first feature we had this past weekend. What happens when car driver and car owner end up side by side going for the race win?
That's whatever goes.
That's about what happened. Dennis' car wasn't working as good. And the very last lap, the last car I had to pass was Dennis. I hate to lap, my car owner.
Right.
But at the same token,
he won the race.
I won the race, and it was really, I couldn't be more thankful for him giving me the opportunity. I never thought in a million years I was going to get back on the track and do it, but he gave me the opportunity and I did it.
Well, Dennis, he is involved in racing the entire weekend, starting Friday. You're out there at the go-kart track with your child. Explain how you just enjoy that whole weekend of racing experience.
Well, see, I enjoy taking I got a 7-year-old, and he's going to be moving up this next year, and he's in the kiddie karts, and he started right after racing. By Sunday, he's asking, Dad, are we racing on Friday? I said, yeah, if you want to race on Friday, we can race on Friday. Well, then when he just gradually builds up, Dad, and he keeps asking. That's something that I figured that'd keep him out of getting in trouble. See, when I was a kid, we'd go out and break windows, and then we'd have to use our allowance to pay for it. Well, this is like trying to keep him out of that trouble. But yeah, I really enjoy watching him race. And Thicke's done favors for me and helped me out in the past. And I figured, I went and asked him. If he said no, he said no. But he said yes. And the smile on his face that he made when I asked him was like the grinning cat from the old cartoons, And then our bad luck that we had, that he had the first night he came out, he got wrecked, and the heat, the battery blew up. Well, then he comes up to me and goes, I need some luck in the car. And I go, what do you want to do? He grabs my roll of blaze orange, blaze green duct tape, and he puts an M on his car. And I go, what's that for, Thicke? And I kind of had an idea. He goes, well, my mom had so much luck that I'm putting her on the car so that way I can maybe win this one. And sure enough, he put that on the car. Nope, that same, he did it right after the heat race, after his battery, after he stalled the front stretch. And he put that M on the car right after that. And he goes, I need some luck. My mom was one of the luckiest people I've ever known.
Right.
And he goes, I'm going to win this feature now. And sure enough, as soon as he put that M on his car, that's all I had to do.
I guarantee you, folks, that M's going to be there for the rest of this race season. We are out of time for the program today. I want to thank Dennis Crosse, who drives the 88 Hornet, and the 02 driver, Garrett Thicke, for joining us in the program. Did a nice job on Vile. Make sure you go down and see some of his work at the Crosse Speedway. Guys, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
All righty, we will be back next weekend with more chills and spills and probably some sideways driving at the Crosse Speedway. For Al Losey and Dan Diger, thanks for joining us on the program. This is Seven Rivers Racing.